Yeah, man. Got to check out this video, man. How Tupac best friend set him up. Man, make sure y'all hit that hype button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
Stretch was a traitor, plain and simple. You know, he was a traitor. Out of jealousy, out of whatever reason, he betrayed Tupac.
And you're like, Stretch and Pac was like this. Where did it go left? How did that relationship break down?
After the quad shooting.
And the reason I knew my homeboys set me up is because my homeboys knew I was strapped. The dudes came straight for me. My homeboys is behind the niggas. My homeboys behind the niggas, and they didn't do nothing. They knew I was strapped. All they had to do was grab the nigga, and I could have bust.
Tupac Shakur didn't have many people he truly called friends, but there was one man he trusted like a brother, Randy Walker, aka Big Stretch, or so he thought. Because according to rumors, not only did Stretch watch Tupac get shot several times inside Quad Studios, he may have even been involved in setting it up.
But they got guns, so these niggas are coming for me, and these niggas just sitting there. And they say, get, and these niggas drop to the floor. I knew it was a setup.
And if that wasn't dark enough, exactly.
I ain't gonna lie. So, if some dudes coming to rob us, and they come all at me, and y'all just hit the flow, I'm gonna feel like y'all set me up too. So I think Tupac was on to something.
1 year later, Stretch himself would find himself caught in a hail of bullets, shot multiple times in a brutal attack he wouldn't survive. So, did Stretch really betray Tupac? And was his death just coincidence or revenge? Let's get into it. In the early days of the 90s, Tupac and Stretch moved together like they were family. Wherever one showed up, the other usually wasn't far behind. Stretch had already started making a name for himself before most people even knew who Tupac was. Standing at a towering 6 feet 8 inches, Randy Stretch Walker had a presence that was impossible to ignore. But it wasn't just his height that got attention. He had talent, connections, and a reputation for being serious about music. Back in 1990, Stretch connected with Shock G from Digital Underground. At the time, Digital Underground was one of the most creative and influential groups in hip-hop. Shock G had an eye for talent, and linking up with him was a big opportunity for anyone trying to break into the industry. That relationship helped open doors for Stretch and pulled him further into the rap scene. Stretch even appeared on Digital Underground's 1991 album on the track Family of the Underground, and he also remixed their single No Nose Job. Being around that camp meant being around a lot of rising talent, and that environment played a big role in shaping what came next. That same summer was when Stretch's path crossed with Tupac Shakur. At the time, Tupac was still finding his footing in the game. He had talent, energy, and charisma, but he hadn't fully blown up yet. Meeting Stretch turned out to be a major turning point. The two clicked almost immediately. Stretch's connections also helped Tupac get opportunities that might have taken longer otherwise. Through people Stretch knew in the industry, Pac started landing studio sessions, performances, and appearances that helped raise his profile. One example came in 1992 when Tupac performed his single, If My Homie Calls, on Yo MTV Raps, which was one of the biggest platforms for hip-hop artists at the time. Stretch was right there backing him up.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? We don't do this nowhere else but here, you know what I'm saying? So check me out.
Ed Lover, who hosted the show alongside Dr. Dre, was already familiar with Stretch's group Live Squad. He liked their demo tape and spoke highly of it, which helped them land a deal with Tommy Boy Records. The friendship between Pac and Stretch kept getting stronger. Outside of music, they were still around each other constantly. Around that same time, Tupac was filming what would become one of the most important movies of his early career, Juice. The film
Juice, classic movie, man. If you ain't seen Juice, you need to make sure you go watch that, man. Classic movie.
Would end up being Pac's breakout role and introduced him to an even bigger audience.
The goddamn track team. I'm serious.
While filming the movie, Stretch and Tretch from Naughty by Nature were actually hanging around on set as extras. But things didn't always go smoothly. At one point during filming, Tupac's trailer got robbed. Somebody had the nerve to go inside and take his belongings. When Stretch and Treach found out what happened, they tracked down the people responsible and handled the situation themselves, delivering a serious beatdown to the culprits. It was one of those moments that showed how tight the circle really was. Stretch wasn't just Pac's friend either. He played a big role in his music. He worked on Tupac's debut album, Tupacalypse Now, which dropped in 1991.
Classic.
Stretch produced and rapped on tracks like Crooked Ass Ninja, helping shape the gritty sound Pac was developing at the time. While Tupac was still building his name in music, the release of Juice in 1992 pushed his career to another level. Suddenly, people were seeing him everywhere, on screen and in the studio. When Pac started working on his second album, Strictly for My Niggaz, Stretch was still right there in the mix. The album came out in 1993 and included several collaborations between Pac and Live Squad. They produced and appeared on the track Strugglin', and they were also part of the legendary posse cut 5 Deadly Venoms, which featured Treach and Apache. Stretch's production skills were also showcased on other tracks from the project. He produced The Streets Are Death Row, a track that carried that raw street energy Pac was becoming known for. He also produced Holler If You Hear Me, which became one of Tupac's most powerful early anthems. By that point, their creative partnership was undeniable. Stretch wasn't just part of Pac's crew, he was helping shape the sound of some of his most important early records. In 1994, Stretch even joined Tupac on the Arsenio Hall show to perform the song Pain, which came from the Above the Rim soundtrack.
See, and that's the whole thing about it. He put the man on all his music, had the man on all his songs, took the man with him wherever he went, and you still set the man up. It's crazy, man.
At that point, Pac and Stretch seemed inseparable. But on November 30th, 1994, everything changed. That night, Tupac went to Quad Recording Studios in New York City. What happened there would end up being one of the most controversial moments in hip-hop history, the infamous Quad Studios shooting. Tupac was ambushed and shot multiple times during what appeared to be a robbery inside the building. Miraculously, he survived, but the entire situation left him angry, suspicious, and looking for answers. And one of the people he started questioning was Stretch. Tupac got shot and had strongly believed Stretch had some kind of involvement in the shooting.
And you're like, Stretch and Pac was like this. Where did it go left? How did that relationship break down?
After the quad shooting.
Why did Tupac think this? A big reason was Stretch's connections to the people who were allegedly behind the incident. Stretch was from Queens, and through his time in New York, he had become familiar with some of the more notorious figures in the city's underworld. Two of those names were Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman.
Nah, we know they the ones that did it. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%, you know what I'm saying? They made sure that happened to Pac at the Quad Studio. Problem with Stretch is that if you in the streets or if it's been known that they was finna do something to Tupac or whatever, you already knew. People could believe what they want to believe, but you already knew. You already knew they had it out for Pac. Jimmy Henchman ain't like what Pac was saying about that case they had together. I mean, Haitian Jack, he didn't like what Pac was saying about the case they had together. And then Jimmy Henchman was mad at him because he kept trying to get Pac to do certain stuff, and Pac wasn't on that, and signing the Bad Boy was one of them, and he ain't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, but they all act like they loved him. They all act like they was his brothers, and that's why you got to watch people, man. You can't trust people.
Both men had serious reputations in the streets and in the music industry. On the night of the shooting, Stretch had actually been there with Tupac when everything went down. But one thing that didn't sit right with Pac was the fact that he was the only one targeted. Stretch, who stood at 6 feet 8 inches, should have logically been the biggest threat in the room. If someone was coming in to rob them, he would have been the first person the attackers tried to neutralize. But that didn't happen. They didn't even touch him. Instead, they went straight for Tupac. That detail stuck in Pac's mind and raised major red flags for him. Later, during an interview with Vibe magazine, Tupac talked about how strange the situation felt in the moment. "I was like, what should I do? I'm thinking Stretch is going to fight. He was towering over those ninjas. From what I know about the criminal element, if ninjas come to rob you, they always hit the big ninja first. But they didn't touch Stretch. They came straight to me. Everybody dropped to the floor like potatoes, but I just froze up. It wasn't like I was being brave or nothing.
And that's another thing. If y'all seeing that they all on me, and they ain't even doing none of y'all, why wouldn't I believe that y'all was with them? I'd have felt the same way he felt. Crazy.
I just could not get on the floor." Pac also said this.
And the reason I knew my homeboys set me up is because my homeboys knew I was strapped. The dudes came straight for me. My homeboys is behind the niggas. Like, they running for swag. My homeboys behind the niggas, and they didn't do.
For Pac, that moment stuck in his.
Boom. And there you go right there. Drop a Buddha bum for that knowledge Pac just dropped right there. Hey, it's fact. Y'all know I got the blick on me. Y'all seen it with Blick Shaw scared or whatever. The fact still remains that y'all wasn't even approached, even thought about in this robbery. They came straight to me. They wanted me. They went after me. Y'all did nothing. And on top of that, after it got did to me, y'all didn't want to do nothing. Oh, man. Yeah.
His head. The more he thought about it, the more suspicious he became. Then another detail made things even worse. While Tupac was recovering from the shooting, Stretch started passing along messages to him from Jimmy Henchman. That didn't sit well with Pac at all. In Tupac's mind, if Stretch was really his friend, why was he acting like a messenger for someone Pac already didn't trust? That was when his suspicions started to harden into belief. Tupac began to feel like he might have been set up.
When he came and said, Jimmy Henchman, I remember like yesterday, Jimmy Henchman said, you don't want to go to war because you don't got your money right. And I'm looking like him. I'm the only one that said, how do a friend bring this message to a friend? Like, you know what I mean? So that felt awkward to me. Like
Later on, Pac.
Yep. And Pac said that on the Machiavelli album. He said, you told me you can't go to war until I get my money right. But I got my money right now, so let's go to war. You see what I'm saying? The whole thing about it is, if you my homie, if you my best friend, if you my guy, you my partner, why is you bringing me a message like my op? You telling me my op told me like, hey, he said, there ain't no point in no sense of trying to go to war because you ain't got enough money. What? Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. We probably would have whooped him right there. There's no way he could have walked in the room, said that, and left out that room and we ain't whoop him. You kicked out the group right there. I wish one of my homies would walk in and like, hey, man, Woo said you ain't got enough money to go to war, so it ain't even no sense of trying to. What? Hold on. Like, is you with them or something? I ain't finna whoop you right here in the room. You getting beat right there in the room. You ain't gonna even be able to walk up out of there. You ain't gonna be able to leave up out of there. You gonna leave up out of that hurt. And then once we beat you over, now you go back and tell him that the war is on. What you mean? Come on, man.
Explained why he even went to Quad Studios that night in the first place. According to him, Jimmy Henchman had offered him $7,000 to do a feature for one of his artists, Little Sean. At the time, Pac desperately needed money. He was in the middle of fighting a SA case and his legal fees were piling up. The pressure was intense, and financially, he wasn't in the best position. So even though something didn't feel right, he agreed to do it. He said he felt uncomfortable and even perturbed.
Now, this is the crazy part. Let y'all know, the night that Tupac was going there, he wasn't even going there to see Biggie, even though Biggie and them was there. He was going to do a verse for the Lil Sean guy or whatever like that. But Jimmy Henchman was on the phone with, so Jimmy Henchman had already knew that he was going and go be there, and Haitian Jack did put the word out like, we got to do this and that. And it's like, bro, I ain't telling him nothing. But Pac found out everything after he got shot when he went to jail. Because when he went to jail, everybody knew and they told him everything. And that's how he found out.
By how persistent Henchman had been, constantly calling and pushing him to come to the studio. Pac also knew Jimmy was close with Haitian Jack, and by that point, Pac and Jack had already fallen out because of the assault case. On top of that, Pac had been publicly speaking badly about Jack, so the whole situation felt strange. Still, Pac felt like he didn't have many options. He needed money, and in the music industry sometimes you had to deal with people you didn't fully trust, so he went anyway. But his instincts weren't wrong. That night, he got shot.
Is Tupac Shakur, rapper, actor, court defendant, and now shooting victim. Shortly after midnight, 12:25 a.m. on Wednesday morning, Tupac Shakur was shot 5 times in the lobby of this Manhattan building right behind me.
After the Quad Studio shooting, the relationship between Tupac and Stretch was never the same again. One of the biggest signs of how bad things had gotten came a couple of years later when Tupac released what would become one of the most iconic albums in hip-hop history, All Eyes on Me. By that time, Pac was signed to Death Row Records and was operating in a completely different environment. The album was massive, both in size and impact. It featured a long list of collaborators and producers, but one name that was noticeably missing was Stretch. And the problems between them didn't stop there. There were also rumors floating around that another reason Tupac fell out with Stretch had to do with one of Pac's girlfriends. One of Tupac's women later claimed that Stretch had tried to make a move on her while Pac was locked up.
Yeah, when I did an interview with Desiree, she was telling me that, Stretch, she was trying to talk to her behind Pac back when he was in prison. You said while Tupac was in prison, Big Stretch, she tried to get at you?
Still.
See what I'm saying? Now we know what Bop gonna do what a Bop gonna do.
Bop it!
But it's like, I'm locked up, and I already got shot. Felt like you had something to do with that. Then after that, the stuff happened with the case, I get sent to jail. Then, when I'm in jail, you trying to talk to my girl? Can't nobody trust this dude. He can't be trusted. Now, fellas, I'm finna tell y'all how to gauge this, because a lot of dudes, they be looking at little situations like your guy trying to talk to your girl, they be viewing it the wrong way. Now, I'm gonna tell you how to gauge this and how it works. If she a bop, she a bop. If you know she a bop, you ain't gotta hide no feelings behind it. If your guy knows she a bop, he could do what he wanna do. But if this your girl, and what I mean by your girl, I mean like you probably plan on marrying her, you want to have kids with her, stuff like that. If this your main, and he knows that, and he try to talk to her behind your back, don't trust him. Any dude that'll do that, he'll kill you too. Understand what I'm saying? He don't got no respect for you. That man, he'll double cross you on any type of level. So a lot of dudes don't be checking that and they'll be like, oh, nah, man, that's just my homie. Y'all, nah, man. No, because a lot of times a dude, look, I've been in situations where the dudes didn't even want the girl until I started talking to the girl. And then once I started talking to the girl, now they want to come trying to talk to the girl. But what I'm telling y'all is, any guy that'll do that, he will kill you too. So check that in the door. If he know that that's your main and she ain't a bop and she just ain't been bopping around,
Bop it!
Check that, because he'll kill you. So you need to get away from him as quick as possible.
Stretch had his own perspective on everything that happened. He eventually addressed the situation during an interview with Vibe magazine, and it was clear he was both confused and frustrated by the way things had played out. Stretch made it clear that he felt blindsided by Tupac's accusations. He said, "Me and Pac have been down from day one, before he did Juice, before his first album. That's my man. So, the interview he did in Vibe bugged me out. But I know him. He likes to talk a lot. Especially when he's upset, he'll say
That's how you know when a dude be lying, man. Man, that's been my day one. Okay, why you tried to talk to my girl? Why as you passing messages from the ops? Why when I got robbed, you didn't even try to fight, swing. You the biggest one there. You ain't do nothing. And then after that, you still didn't do nothing. After that, I know they the ones that did it, but you bringing me messages from them. You a trait. Then, plus, even if I just thought that and didn't know no better, when I'm locked up in jail, they telling me, yeah, your homie Stretch, yeah, he knew. Yeah, he was down with it. He knew exactly what was gonna happen to you. Him and the other guy, Elway fell straight to the floor. When everything went down, it boop, just fell like dominoes. I think they probably was already on the ground soon as the elevator was over. If we ever get the real security feel, I bet they probably fell to the ground before dude and them even said nothing, drew anything. They were just already on the ground. So you gotta imagine Pac being the littlest one probably looking like, what they on the ground for? Like, and all the elevator deals just open. What dude and them was standing in like the corridor, but then the other ones got off the elevator or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, come on, man, you're a snake.
That he won't even mean. And then he'll think about it later and be like, damn, why the F did I say that? But that didn't mean he wasn't upset about how everything unfolded. Stretch also had a serious issue with the fact that Tupac chose to talk about their problems publicly instead of addressing them privately. Stretch explained it like this. In that interview, Pac was talking all that ish about thug life, being ignorant and telling ninjas names and all that. I don't even understand why he went there. I've seen Pac mad times after the shooting, and he never kicked none of that to me. You know how he feels about the media, so why would he go and do an interview like that? He's supposed to be a street ninja.
You seen him, but you knew he wasn't messing with you because he wasn't hanging with you. Yeah, I'm watching you, nigga. I'm gonna watch you cross the street. I know you working with the ops. What I'm gonna come kick it with you for? What I'm gonna say something to you for? You the reason I ended up in a situation where I could have lost my life. Come on, man. Why he ain't say nothing to me? Because you're a snake. You think I'm gonna come? I don't understand. Why is it that when a snake bites you, a snake expects you to come back and talk to them? Make it make sense, bro.
He should have kept it in the street. Ninjas on the street live by rules, man. And that rule right there, that's a rule that's never to be broken. Another thing that clearly bothered Stretch was Tupac's suggestion that he didn't step up during the Quad Studios attack. In that same interview, Pac had talked about expecting Stretch to fight back during the robbery because of his size. Since Stretch stood at 6 feet 8 inches and was physically the biggest person there, Pac felt like he should have reacted differently. Stretch didn't take that criticism lightly. He responded directly to it, explaining the reality of the situation from his perspective. He said, Pac saying all this shit in the interview, like, I thought Stretch was gonna fight. He was towering over them. Now, that dude knows I ain't never gonna be out like no B, but I ain't dumb. I ain't got no gun. What the F am I supposed to do? I might be towering over them, but I ain't towering over no slugs. In other words, Stretch was saying that size didn't matter when bullets were involved. Going up against armed attackers without a weapon would have been suicide. But before the situation between the two men could ever be fully resolved.
Okay, so now he's trying to say that, no, they had guns and I'm not stupid. What I'm saying is, after this situation, why are you coming back telling me what they said? You must don't know that I know that they did it. Because now it's looking like to me you working for the people in the jail that already told me. I get back on the street here, you come telling me what the ops said. How you think I'm going to feel? See what I'm saying? Crazy, bro.
Tragedy struck. Exactly 1 year after the Quad Studios shooting, almost down to the exact minute, Stretch was killed. The timing alone immediately raised eyebrows. On the night he died, Stretch had been out driving around in Queens. According to people who knew him, he had spent part of the evening giving rides to friends and acquaintances. That was something Stretch had always been known for. Despite his intimidating size and reputation in the streets, a lot of people described him as generous and helpful when it came to those around him. Earlier that same night, he had reportedly dropped off his brother. According to Nas, Stretch had even given him a ride as well. It seemed like a normal night, but things took a deadly turn when two men in another car started chasing Stretch. What followed was a high-speed pursuit through the streets. During the chase, shots were fired. Stretch was hit, and he lost control of the vehicle.
Hey, Get Back don't got no time or no date on it. You snake me, I gotta snake you. Y'all heard what Pac said on the Machiavelli album. And that dude that was down for me rested dead. Switch sides. I guess his new friends wanted him dead. It is what it is, man. Eye for an eye. Them dudes could have killed me. You was still being cool with the dudes that could have killed me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, had to do you. It is what it is.
Vehicle. His car eventually crashed into a tree. By the time authorities arrived, it was already too late. Stretch was dead.
Walker, known as Stretch, was a member of the group Live Squad.
The news sent shockwaves through the people who knew him. His death devastated his family, including his mother, his siblings, and his young daughter. The tragedy hit even harder for some people because Stretch's daughter was actually Tupac's goddaughter. That connection made the fallout between.
I ain't gonna lie. Even if I am the goddaddy to your kids, you snake me, all that's out the window. You know what I'm saying? It's out the window. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, goddaughter. I'm sorry, godson. Your pops played, he had to go. I apologize. You know, maybe one day, you know, when y'all get older and get grown, y'all will understand where I'm coming from. But you know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. The man crossed me and, you know, things happen. You know, life is an eye for an eye. But it ain't no way ain't nothing finna happen to you when you came back to me telling me what the ops said, tried to talk to my girl, let me get robbed. They just plopped to the floor before they even announced who they was robbing or anything. It was already on the floor. Tupac looking like, what they on the floor for? What they getting on the floor for? And then now he see that he about to get robbed. Y'all wasn't about to get robbed. Y'all was already on the floor before y'all even seen the gun or anything. Come on, man.
Between Pac and Stretch feel even more complicated. But when Tupac was later asked about Stretch's murder, his response shocked a lot of people. In an interview with The Source, Tupac explained how he felt about the situation. He said, "Stretch was my closest dog, my closest homie. I did a lot of drama. I got into a lot of cases and eshesh because of Stretch. Money-wise, he could have had anything. His daughter was my daughter. Whatever she wanted, she could have. Then this happened, and the ninja didn't ride for me. He didn't do what your dog is supposed to do when you're shot up. When I was in jail, Ninja never wrote me, never got at me. His homeboys were coming to see me, and he wasn't coming to see me. And he started hanging around Biggie right after this. I'm in jail, shot up, his main dog, and he's hanging out, going to shows with Biggie. Both these ninjas never came to see me." In his mind, Stretch.
Pac ain't wrong at all. Rest in peace, I ain't gonna lie. That's why Tupac is one of my favorite artists, bro. Because he really put what he was going through in real life was in his music. That's why when you listen to his music, it hit different. You feel it different because everything he was rapping about was true. Every single thing the man rapped about was true. It was actual factual. And I feel him. These dudes were snakes, all that. They was trying to take me out. They was jealous of me. People talking about they love me. Like Pac said it before in the other interview, I done took care of their family, put them on. I feel, look, bro, if you ever took care of somebody and they snaked you, don't ever go back around them, bro. Like, it is what it is. That's why I love Pac so much. I feel like he the realest rapper, bro, because he put it all in the songs. And people just took it, either misinterpreted or took it for what they want to take it for. But if you a real Tupac fan, you know everything he was putting in that music was 100% true. And he wasn't crazy. He knew these dudes snaked him. He knew these dudes was trying to kill him. Everything he said was 100% facts. Crazy, bro.
Stretch had abandoned him during one of the darkest moments of his life. But not everyone agreed with Tupac's interpretation of what happened. Some people who knew Stretch personally felt that Pac was being unfair. One of those people was Ed Lover. Ed explained that there was actually a reason why Stretch didn't visit Tupac in jail. According to him, Stretch couldn't get into the facility because he didn't have a valid ID due to being a convicted felon. It was something Pac might not have realized at the time.
Felt the way because he said that Stretch and Madge and them didn't come see him when he was locked up. But they couldn't come see him because you had to have ID, and he ain't had no ID.
Ed also.
All right. I hear what Ed Lover said, but this is what I'm saying. What if the dude that's supposed to be your homie come give you a message that your op said it ain't no point in trying to go to war with us because you don't have enough money after they done shot you up? Explain that. Explain that. You can't. So that whole ID thing is null and void.
Believed that Tupac's expectations put Stretch in a difficult position. Pac had wanted Stretch to completely cut ties with Biggie after the shooting, but the reality was that Stretch had been friends with both of them long before the drama started. To Ed, forcing someone to choose sides like that wasn't fair. According to him, Tupac actually knew who was responsible for the Quad Studios attack, and Biggie wasn't involved. So expecting Stretch to turn on Biggie over what Ed described as Pac's paranoia placed him in an impossible situation.
They were friends. The friendship and that bond was B.I., God rest his soul, Stretch, and Pac. They were all cool, bro. So you can't ask somebody to pick a side when you know that what happened to you did not come from that person. So you ask the Stretch to choose a side, and he's like, you my man, and he's my man. You know where this came from. You know who you was messing with that we kept telling you not to mess with. So you know where.
You can't. Listen, bro. Listen. I understand back then was a different time, but you cannot be my homie and tell me what my ops, the dudes that's trying to kill me, and tell me what they're saying to me. There's no way. No way, bro. No way.
Where it came from, bro.
Ed Lover also revealed that his own relationship with Tupac started to suffer because of.
So what? So what? You sound like you want to be with them too. Go be with them too. Them niggas tried to kill me, and y'all want me to play this good guy, not be mad, be cool with everybody. Hey, look, you want to be down with them, you be down with them too. If Bad Boy, Haitian Jack, Jimmy Henchman, all of them. Straight. And, hey, rest in peace to Stretch, but F him too, bro, because he was a snake. It's backed up by fact. Too many people said he snaked them.
How Pac handled Stretch's death. One thing that particularly bothered him was the fact that Tupac didn't attend Stretch's funeral. Considering that Pac was Stretch's daughter's godfather, Ed felt like showing up would have been the respectful thing to do.
And see, this is what I mean, bro. People backstab you, and now they want you to go do everything the right way. They don't want you talking about nothing. They don't want you exposing nothing. They don't want you speaking on nothing. But these same dudes that tried to kill you, Ed Lover, like, nah, he wrong for not going to the field. I wouldn't have went either. Yeah, we ain't going. No, we ain't going to that field for what? Man tried to snake me. Come on, man.
At the very least, he believed Pac could have sent condolences to Stretch's family. In Ed's words, no matter what had happened, he should have shown some respect.
And did Tupac go to Stretch's funeral?
No, and that's when him and I had a problem. Because we are both godfathers to his daughter. Stretch ain't have nothing to do with what happened to you in a Quad studio. That was your man. You could have showed up at his funeral. You should have showed up and just paid your respects. Or even if you wasn't coming, you could have sent something.
Even decades later, Stretch's murder is still surrounded by unanswered questions. The case remains unsolved, and the identity of the people who chased him down that night has never been officially confirmed. Over the years, different theories have surfaced. One person who has spoken about it is Reggie Wright Jr., a former death row security chief. Reggie has hinted that Stretch's killing might have been connected to the tension surrounding Tupac and the Quad Studios shooting. He pointed to the eerie timing, exactly 1 year after Pac was shot, as something that seemed more than coincidental.
Crazy. See how karma work? See how everything come to a head? Snake your mans, and then you get killed exactly 1 year on the same day after you had snaked them. That's called karma.
Dental. Reggie also claimed that Tupac had once been seen hugging someone in the studio who was rumored to be involved in questionable activities.
Yes. Number one, it happened on the anniversary date. The shooting incident at the Quad Studios with Tupac. An associate of ours was out there. He came back a day or two later.
Reggie, you snitch. Reggie, you snitch. Come on, man, Reggie. You tell us. The dude that was with Death Row, he was out there. Yeah, I ain't saying he did nothing, but then he came back. Oh, man, the nigga Reggie snitching.
Pac hugged him like he was
Kadada.
That's all I'll say.
While that detail alone doesn't prove anything, some people believe Reggie was trying to suggest that there might have been more happening behind the scenes than the public ever knew. Still, there has never been any solid evidence connecting Tupac to Stretch's death. No arrests were made, no charges were filed, and no definitive explanation ever came out. So to this day, Stretch's killing remains one of the many unsolved mysteries connected to the violent era.
Hey, like I say, man, if it's anybody around you that's snaking you, get away from them. You know what I'm saying? Get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. It's your boy Buddha. I'm out.